Big ass, how I get that ooh.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
What's goody, YouTube? How's everyone doing? Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to yet another live reaction video. If you're new here for the first time, my name is TMR, and since you clicked on this video, you might as well subscribe to the YouTube channel, leave your comments down below, and enjoy this reaction video. What's goody, YouTube? What's good, TMR gang? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to yet another live reaction video. I'm your girl, TMR. Thank y'all so much for stopping what you were doing and me in this daggone break room, y'all. Oh boy. All right. Y'all see the title, y'all see the thumbnail, y'all know what we gonna talk about on this good Thursday evening, honey. Good evening, Pure Area. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the live. Welcome back to the break room. Child, we gotta live in the break room, y'all. Yes, honey. Libby came to show us her war marks, honey. Her warrior wounds. Okay, y'all know she just birthed a baby. And there was conversation going around the internet that they believed that she did not have a C-section. And Libya, per usual, said she wanted to, she don't gotta lie. Libby said, I ain't got to lie to kick it. So we're gonna take a peek at that. What's up, Prudence? Welcome, Pearl. Welcome, Terry. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Latoya. Welcome, Nisha. Girl, a mess, Nisha. A mess. Hey, Peach. So we're gonna get into that. And then we got another story to get into. Put a 1 in the chat. And this is gonna go back from all my OG break room. Who remember Jasmine's mod, whose name was Jasmine as well? Who remembers her? Y'all remember because we started doing reactions on her when she had uprooted herself from Memphis, Tennessee, and ran to, I think it was Dallas, Texas. And she was there just for a couple of months and then ended up running back to Memphis. And she told us that she didn't have an apartment, but she ended up showing up with the Christmas tree still up. Y'all remember her? Well, baby, she back. Okay, she's back. She's been back and forth, back and forth. I think we talked about her. Was it last year or the year before? I can't remember. Maybe it was 2024 because she shows up periodically. Okay, so a lot of y'all remember her. Baby, she back. Okay. You said, oh no, Jasmine only talks to Bentley. So she back, y'all, and she has a part 3 story to tell us that she has been homeless for 10 years. Yes, the girl that was in the shelter with the little baby, and she had a couple kids, two boys. Right, Lo. Oh, was she in the shelter and then went back to her apartment? Yes, Lo, her. Exactly, Black and Bougie. So she basically said that she's been homeless for the past 10 years. I guess off and on, she's been homeless. And all I kept thinking was, well, sis, you mean when you was over there beefing with Jasmine, you was her mod sitting in her chat, keeping up a bunch of ruckus in the chat with with the people in the chat and everywhere else she was going. And then when you turned on Jasmine and started beefing with Jasmine, you mean to tell me, girl, you was in between housing and you sitting on the internet arguing with a chick who did have a place to live? She been struggling, apparently so. I was like, well, wait a minute, where they do that? Baby, let me tell y'all something. If I ain't got nowhere to stay, I wish I would be on this internet engaging in anything other than somebody trying to tell me how to clean my credit up and help me get back on my feet. I know, sis, ain't no way. I was like, hey, mom and bugs. Right, Ice? I was like, you what? 10 years? And you was on here. Jasmine couldn't go live, and she wasn't a part of the live stream. She was mod in check. And then I said to but I knew something was wrong when I seen the girl showed up at the shelter in Texas. I said, Oh, okay. Well, all right. A mess, y'all. At the end of the day, one thing's for sure, two things for certain. People go through things. I definitely understand that, right? Exactly, Peoria, especially when you got children too. And so, when people go through things, people sometimes people escape to the internet just to get away from their everyday life. But there ain't nowhere in the world I'm sitting over here biting and scratching, clawing with a chick on the internet about what she got going on, and I ain't got nothing going on. I'm struggling with what I got going on. Baby, I could care less what you got going on because it ain't helping my current situation. I mean, that lady, Jasmine, the lady we getting ready to talk about, baby, she was showing up to Jasmine's lives as if Jasmine was paying her. Like every time Jasmine would go live, for however long Jasmine would be live, baby, she would be in that chat front and center, modding her little heart away, blocking people and all kind of stuff. And you sitting over here talking about you've been homeless for 10 years. Thank you, Ice. Yes, y'all make sure y'all clock in. So y'all, but we gonna get into Olivia first, and then we go. She got a 3-part series. I did listen to some of part one. I didn't listen to 2 and 3, but I think it's interesting to listen to. I really do. And what I did notice about that Jasmine lady, I really feel like the reason why she fell out with Jasmine, and I'm gonna just be honest with y'all. And some might say, well, sis, how could I'm gonna tell y'all something. People get envious of you when it comes to this social media thing. And I think the whole time that she was modding for Jasmine, apparently she already had a channel. Obviously, she wasn't getting the traction over there. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you had a channel, why was you spending all your time sitting in Jasmine's live stream when you should have been producing your own content? Because let's be honest, we've seen my jazzy life. You ain't got to be real smart. You ain't got to have a bunch of style, glitz, glam. You ain't got to have none of that to be on social media. No, you don't. So while you were sitting over there, sitting in Jasmine's chat, modding for her, girl, you could have been growing your own empire. So I really feel like a lot of probably Jasmine's certain rage or whatever she had going on, probably was a little animosity or jealousy for my Jazzy life because Jasmine got a channel, she's monetized, she get well back then she was getting the views, she ain't get shit now, but I'm just saying like it just yeah, me too, mom and bugs. They definitely do me as well, baby. I don't try to, especially if I can tell that something ain't right about you. Yeah, I go on and bout face real quick. Lo said, right, ma'am. You got to get you some business and some motion. Exactly. So, y'all, we're gonna get into her story because it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. So let's get into Olivia real quick, honey. We told Olivia stop coming up here talking about this damn C-section, but the courts already proved she don't listen. Them people down there at the courthouse told that girl pay that money. We're gonna put your ass in jail. She didn't listen, and what they do? Put her in jail. Let's.
I look a mess. Okay, I'm about to take a shower. I look so crazy. Oh, I can't wait. This is the first shower I'll be having since I've been home. Okay, it is the next day from coming home from the hospital. It's just been so chaotic, so crazy. You guys know how it is when you have a newborn. Okay, I'm not getting a lot of sleep. I'm not getting any sleep. Today I got a little sleep, but
Hey, Coco.
whew, it's been a lot. But we're working through it. We're getting through it. But I'm about to take a glorious shower. But you guys, people are really saying that I'm lying about having a C-section. So I'm gonna do something gross. I'm gonna show you. Well, I don't know if I can show you. Let me show you. I have to clean it right now. Um, Hold on. Let me see what I can show you. Okay, I think this will work. Don't mind my stomach, but my stomach is going down a lot, but it just still looks gross. But look.
Um. Okay. You got a little tattoo on your panty line or your bikini line? Oh, okay. Didn't know that. Don't think I even really ever wanted to know if you had tattoo at your bikini line. I said, when I saw this, I said, don't this look like Jaws? It looked like a shark's mouth. Look at her incision. Don't it look like a shark's mouth to y'all? That's what it looked like. Look like the shark got their mouth wide open, like, ah! Her steri strips look like teeth. This right here, this the shark's head, and this his teeth. Look, don't it look like that? I said, well, what's going on? I said, Libby, did you swallow a shark? Girl, why your tummy look like a damn shark's mouth? She said, look, y'all. See? I got stitches. See, y'all? I'm not no liar. I said, what in the heavens? Vaughn, Libby's her fupa. We looking at her fupa. She wanted us to know that she got her fupa taped up. I said, not your stomach look like Jaws round there. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. When Olivia walks, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Dun-dun-dun-dun. I said, her stomach look like Jaws. Oh my God. I said, baby, these people on the internet that lost their damn mind. Let's get into it.
Yeah, I definitely had a C-section. But I gotta clean that. And it doesn't look that bad. I thought it looked grosser. And I know this looks gross, like, because my stomach is humongous.
Oh.
But my stomach is still swollen, and I know it looks gross. Don't worry, okay? Weight loss journey pending, okay? It's happening. I just have to heal. But my incision doesn't look so bad. I swear, you guys. In the hospital, I thought, like, I don't know. I thought a lot of bad things. I was like, what if it reopens? And but like, I've healed so good. On the third day, let me see, it's the 9th. And I have her on the 5th. So it's been 4 days. And I feel great. Like, of course, like, if I stretch the wrong way or I pull it the wrong way, it kind of like stings.
So you must have been burning out of this world when you was over there pussy popping on the handstand, when you was over there twerking that while your baby was down at the NICU. Yeah, you must have been really talking about when you twist and turn, it burns a little bit. Girl, you must have been on fire when you was down there twerking and carrying on.
I'm also doing the cabbage. I'm trying to drive
the gifts.
I'm just a mess. You know, after labor, you're just a mess, girl. And this hair is a mess. I'm just a mess. I'm just a mess. But it's okay. We're gonna get it together. Y'all know I like to show you the real and the raw. Okay, the real. But I definitely had a C-section, you guys. I don't have no reason to lie to you. I have my steri strips. I feel like they're gonna come off right now. My doula gave me some water to put on. It's like some alkaline water, and I'm gonna put that on. I think it's good without steri strips. That they did those steri strips before I left the hospital, and I think it's good. Like, if they fall off right now, and I just put on that alkaline water, and yeah, we're just happy healing. You know what I mean? I think it's healing really good, and for some reason,
I think the reason why she's trying to say that she's not breastfeeding is because of all the anesthesia and stuff that was in her body from, you know, the epidural and the C-section and all that. But let's be honest, y'all, all that stuff will wear off. You know how many women breastfeed and still, get C-sections and still breastfeed their babies. I don't know. Olivia, Miss Holistic.
I thought the incision was way bigger. Like, I was like, because she told me, like, my incision was already small and she had to cut it more because of how they had to get the baby out. But anyway, I don't have to lie to you guys. I did get a C-section. And I'm so shocked at how fast my body's healing.
She stayed trying to prove something to the internet. Like, sis, if you're going to prove something to them 3 other kids you got, you know, the first set of 3. Prove something to them, girl. We don't care if you showed us that or not. The internet will still say you didn't do it. They'll say you bought that stomach from Amazon. She wanted to show it, like, sister. Oh my God! I was like, girl, don't nobody care. Ozempic and cigarettes, and her book is holistic.
Thank you to God.
I said, why don't you prove that
3 days I was
GED?
good. And
Girl, Ice. Why you say that? Why you keep bringing up old stuff, Ice? Oh my God. She was quick to show us her C-section incision, but the people been asking her for 3-4 years to show that GED, and she said that wasn't none of our business. But your under your belly, your undercarriage is our business. Your C-section scar is our business, but your GED is not. The fact that you got a tattoo on your bikini line is our business, but your GED is not. Prove that you paying child support. Well, we know she not. That's why she went to jail. Remember, Peoria? My thing is, hey, Sasha, my thing is, your GED is none of our business, but your C. We said that you didn't graduate, you didn't go to GED class. We've been saying that for, what was that, 5-6 years? We've been saying that since before Gerard left your ass. You ain't show us that proof yet, but you couldn't wait to come, because you know why? Because you actually did get a C-section. You didn't show that GED because you didn't get a GED. That's obvious.
I'm telling you guys, I was terrified that it was going to be like, I mean, I'm not saying I'm fully healed. No, I know I have to take it easy for the next couple weeks, but just to not be in pain, you know what I mean? And to feel like me again. You know, I'm not 100% back to me. I just can't wait for these to stop filling up because my boobs are so freaking sore. I decided not to breastfeed, and she's doing really good with the formula. But yeah, these need to go down. I need to Google
GED. GED. We want to see the GED.
that, how long it takes. But anyway, let me take a shower. I'll see you guys after my shower. Look, y'all, how pretty. My parents got me flowers. Why do I have this flash turn on?
So the internet said her room looked awful empty. There were no flowers. There weren't no balloons. But your mama, now apparently you said your mama and your daddy and all of them came up to see you in the hospital. They didn't bring the flowers there. They decided to bring them to you when you came home. You didn't have the baby at home. You had the baby at the damn hospital. Why they didn't bring them to the hospital? So now she want to show y'all proof that somebody did. Did the baby daddy send you anything? We don't care nothing about the mama. What did the baby daddy? Where is the push give? Shit, Jasmine got a four from Wendy's. And we saw that. That was proof. Chris went right on down there to the Wendy's and got her a 4 for 4. That was her push gift. Where is yours at?
Hold on. Okay, yeah, that flash was way too bright. Anyway, my parents got me some flowers. They were here when I got home. And my stepdad set up her little bassinet. There was a lot of bassinets to choose from. First of all, this was the cheapest one. Let me back up. Oh, you guys can't see nothing now. Why is it so dark? Okay, let me zoom in. Never mind. But anyway, this is a really big one. This one's portable. It was super easy to put together. I wanted one that I didn't.
Girl, you got a lot of stuff going on in that room. You got a bed, couch, dresser, bassinet, you, the 2 other children. Baby, it's a lot going on in that back bedroom.
Really have to put together. And I love the fact that this one came with like a netting. Because you know the kids, she's in there. The kids can't throw stuff in there, and I can put that over it, and yeah, it's just perfect. I mean, there's not a lot of space in here. It's like a little to no space in here. But we just gotta do what we gotta do for right now. But still, it's perfect. It's a big ass bassinet. Like I said, I didn't expect it to be this big, but it works though. It works and it's portable. Like I said, if I ever go anywhere or just picking it up and taking it with us when we do move or whatever the case may be, it's easy. I like the netting. I got it from Walmart for like $50. Yeah, it was really good priced.
Not you waited until the baby came out to get her a The bassinet should have been already there, put up, set up, and ready to go. All you had to do was place the baby in it. Not you had to stop at the Walmart before you can even go home. Lord.
Very good priced. And I'm sorry, I was just and you can rock it. It has like a rocking feature. And yeah, anyway, but it's perfect for her. She is good. I can block out the air from coming, like, blasting on her. And the kids playing with stuff, they can't throw stuff in there because there's the netting on top. All right, so we're about to go to bed. See the baby back there. She's about to knock out. I did take off the steri strips around my incision, and now I know what she meant. She said that if I ever get pregnant again, I will only be able to have C sections, or that's it. Like, I can't give birth naturally anymore. And she said because of the way she cut me. Now, she told me this straight out of surgery, so I was out of it. I thought she meant she cut my uterus. And that's why I was like, you cut my uterus. It didn't make
The way she cut you, from now on, you got to have C-sections. So you're contemplating having another baby? Because that wouldn't even be a conversation. I would have been like, Doc, yeah, I mean, okay. Yeah, I'm not having any more children. But thanks for telling me.
sense. But no, she cut my incision. My incision goes like this, and she also cut it that way, like on the side, because she said she had to open me up wider to get the baby. So that's what she meant. So I see it now. And that's the part that still feels like sensitive. That part right there where she cut me the other way. But it's okay. It's only like that small. The cut's not big. And
Pure area, don't tell her nothing. Don't tell her nothing. Pure area. Stop. You remember, we still waiting to see the GED.
I put the water on it, the alkaline water, and I let it air dry. So I just hope in a day or so it's like fully closed and it's just over. Okay, because it looks kind of reddish a
Amen.
little bit. The rest of the scar or the rest of the incision looks looks closed as hell, but just that little piece right there looks still red.
She don't even know that, like, pure area. I'm telling you, sis, this woman has 6 kids, baby. She just over there hunching. She the fact that you didn't have 6 kids and you didn't know that she had to cut your uterus to get the baby, where you thought the baby was at? In your liver?
I don't know. But anyway, I love you guys. Wish me luck. Like I said, I don't have to lie to y'all. I mean, if I don't want to tell you guys something, I just won't tell y'all. Y'all know how it goes. And then people will go fishing for the information and stalking and harassing, and you know how people are. But
Girl, we who what? Girl, we don't care nothing about your anatomy. Yeah, we don't. The break room ain't looking for shit. Okay, but girl, we just commenting, judging, and moving on. Girl, the fact that you are going that you just had your 6th child, and the fact that you don't know what horizontal and vertical. Jesus.
if I don't want to tell you guys something, I just won't. Lying about a C-section is crazy. Everybody's body is different. Everybody heals differently. And thank God my body just heals quickly, even at the age of 36, because I was dancing, I was shaking booty, and I wasn't on nothing crazy. All I've been taking is ibuprofen. So, yeah, don't come with that narrative. I don't have no, they don't like to prescribe. When they were talking about what they were going to give me, I was like, dang, when I've had my first C-section, they give me um oxycodone. I remember I didn't even take that shit too. I sold it to old girl. I didn't even sell it to her. Did I sell? Yeah, I think she gave me like $40 for the bottle. But anyway, um, I
Not
did
you
never took
selling
it
your
then.
pills.
But I was like, dang, you guys don't give like what did I just say? What is it called? Oxycodone? Whatever. I was like, you guys don't give like nothing like that, like stronger. This is when I was like scared I wasn't gonna heal as quick. And she was like, no, we like to give you guys just high doses of ibuprofen, which I gotta take my ibuprofen right now. But that's all I've been taking, y'all. So I've been doing pretty good. Glory goes to God. My baby is about to wake up. I see her moving. I got her bottle already. I'm hella thirsty. But I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for watching. I'm healing. And I'm going to.
Yes, girl. But I mean, this the same lady that did the Cocalina on her Houston trip. Of course she sells pills, y'all. Wait, y'all act like this woman didn't come out and admitted that she was tooting her nose on a girls' trip, a weekend girls' trip to Houston. Why are we acting shocked that she's selling her her oxys? Hello? Are we still watching the same show? I wasn't even shocked when she said this same lady that told her, we all did the Cocalina. This the same lady said, when y'all go out of town, y'all don't do Cocalina. We said, hell no. Baby, we drink Coca-Cola. Baby, we is not over here playing with our nose, and if we is, we trying to get a booger out. Not pushing no Cocalina in it. So the fact that she said that, and now y'all saying she admitted she sold pills, she also told the whole entire world that she played with her nose, that she liked that nose candy. Hello?
Turn on a Netflix. I've been watching this Netflix series about the Ohio, or is it Idaho? Ohio, Idaho. The murders over there with the college kids, you know. I've been watching that. So I'm going to get back on my series and just relax. I can't wait till I'm fully healed and all this milk is gone. And I gotta put some cabbage on my boobs. So love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Remember to always be you, do you, and love you. And stay positive, guys. Okay. Positivity wins at the end.
Girl, bye. You'll be on here cussing somebody out tomorrow. Talking about some damn positivity. Girl, hush. Woo! Not be you, do you, be do. She killed me with that. Be you, do you, love you, cuckoo, poo poo. Girl, hush. You don't even like yourself, let alone anybody else. Talking about some love you. Girl. All right, yeah. Olivia has wore me out with this whole pregnancy story. It wasn't this much content with AJ's birth and Kailani's birth combined. Baby, she birthed this one baby and been talking for 2 weeks about the same birthing story. Okay. You said, I know that room stinks. Imagine all the different diapers, pads, and pull-ups. Girl, a mess. Oh my God. A mess. All right, y'all. Let's get into an even bigger mess. Okay. I promise you, I cannot unsee this. Like, I'm telling you, that girl's belly looked like a shark's mouth. It really, them starry strips look like shark teeth to me. I don't know why I cannot unsee that. Um, let's get into it, y'all. Let's get into Jasmine. No, we're gonna do Queen Op tomorrow. Danny has entered the chat. I don't know if you guys know, but Danny ended up losing her job because of Queen Op and her whole I'm 9 months pregnant, homeless with my autistic daughter, living on the streets of Pennsylvania or Philadelphia. So Danny went on the internet about 2 days ago and said that she lost her job. So Queen Op was at Burger King, and guess who shows up? Danny. We'll talk about that tomorrow, y'all. I didn't want to do Queen Op today. I need a little break from her. All right, y'all. Let's get into this Jasmine girl. And see what she has to talk about. Again, she said, I hid my homeless journey, okay, for years. She said she was homeless for 10 years. Let's get into it.
Jazz, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Was she?
Today's video is very different, but it's needed. I'm not,
Yes,
you
Melissa.
know, I personally wasn't ready to do this testimony, but I know that God is going to lead me, guide
Thank
me.
you,
He's going to give
Asia.
me the right words to say. And I'm not wanting this video to come across as anything else but just that my testimony, my truth. For the past few years, I've held on to so much hate and so much pain, and I'm ready to be, honest about that. I've been delivered from it. I've given it to God, because only He can heal me from the hatred and the pain that I've gone.
And in the midst of her homelessness for 10 years, she had a small little baby. That little girl now has to be probably about 4 or 5 years old now. But in the midst of these 10 years, she birthed a little girl that's probably about 5 now.
Through. Um, and as you can see
Hey,
from the
Mary.
title, this is about me hiding my homeless journey, things I've gone through as a single mom as it pertains to being homeless. And yeah, we're going to just jump right into all of the things. I do want to give a disclaimer that if at any point of today's video is triggering for you, I'm going to ask that you step away from the video. I definitely would love it if you all still, listen in, maybe, brew you some tea, or I don't know if you're relaxing in bed tonight. I don't know. I plan to have this video up late tonight. I wanted to wait until my kids were in the bed before I had this discussion. I'm the type of mom, I do not want to have adult conversations around my kids. And I really make sure that I don't do that.
She says she doesn't want to have adult conversation around her kids, but you decided to have them from pillar to post for 10 years from what you state. I mean, I'm pretty sure they saw some adult things and being drugged from place to place, state to state. At one point, this girl was in Memphis, then she was in Georgia, then she was in Texas, then she went back to Memphis, then she went to New York, and then she went back to Memphis. And that was just in the last, what, 3 years?
Although they have been subjected to certain conversations out of my will. But I just wanted to give that disclaimer. And also, I'll put some helpful links in the description of the video for anyone who's dealing with similar things or have dealt with similar things so that you can get the help that you need. Do not silence yourself. Please advocate for yourself and stand up for yourself.
Yes, Vaughn.
So I'm just going to take it back to when I very first started YouTube. I started YouTube when my oldest son, Julian, well, first things first, I'm a single mom of 3. If you're new here, my boys are 15 and 11, and my daughter is 4. I started YouTube when my oldest son, Julian, who's 15 at the time, he was 3. And I became pregnant with his brother, and his brother was just like a baby. So he may have been like a few months old when I first started YouTube. And I'll never forget, it was called like Top Tippy Mommy or something like that, because I thought I would be on here giving tips as a mom, something to that degree. But I had a whole freaking family. At that time, I was engaged to be married. If you want to know more about my story and how I became a single mom, I'll leave that video in the description of the video. I won't put y'all through a whole, you know, um, a whole thing of how I became a single mom. I have a specific video on how I became a single mom. I'll share it on my community post as well. But
He says, I promise you, you don't have to share that. A lot of times people already know how you became single. Either you cheated or he cheated. It's one of the two, right? So you don't like to be quite honest with you. I wouldn't even keep reliving the story. I would definitely put it past me, put it behind me, because that's what it is, behind you.
yeah, so my oldest was 15, who's 15 was 3. His brother may have been a couple of months old. And really briefly, my oldest son, dad, he like took off stayed away, never came back. He was kind of like a popcorn dad, kind of popped up in and out of his life until I put my foot down and was like, you're not going to do that. And then I'll say Julian last saw his father.
So what you will find out is how this story is coming about. Apparently, she had a vehicle and the vehicle broke down. Her mother was supposed to tow the vehicle for her to get it fixed. A 2010 Saturn, I believe think it is. And the mother ended up leaving the vehicle at the tow place for a couple weeks, and it was a big tow bill. So she basically did a GoFundMe to help her get another car or get that car out.
When he was 14, and that would have been not last year, but the year before, because he'll be 16 in November. So that was the last time that he saw his dad, unfortunately. And his dad did ask him if he wanted to go off with him, and my son said no, and we haven't talked to his dad since. As far as his brother, I was engaged and married to his father. His father was helping me raise Julian at the time, and we were staying together. And we slowly separated, unfortunately. And I feel like that's when, a lot of my homeless problem truly started. I'm going to jump back to that. Let me say really quickly that my daughter came like years later. It was just the boys and I for quite some time. But again, if you want to know how I became a single mom, every last one of my kids' story is different because I have 3 kids and they all share a separate father. But back on track. So I feel like when I separated from my ex-fiance is when all of my trouble really started with the homeless journey. I was living in a 2-bedroom apartment at the time. He was staying down the street from me, and he had just had a situation where someone had broken into his home, and I said, hey, don't worry about it. I'm getting ready to have, your kid, and I got a ring on my hand. Just move in with me and Julian. Let's do this. Let's do life together like we had, planned to do life together and everything. And we pretty much sat down and talked about it. So he ended up moving in with me and Julian, and we were trying to do life together. We had said we were going to go and get a home together. We were going to get a bigger vehicle together. Never did get a chance to do that because we slowly began to
The video is black because she doesn't have her camera on.
separate. And the reason we began to separate is really nothing major. We ended up just, having some things go on as far as trust. I feel like had we went to maybe like, I don't know, engagement counseling or marriage counseling, since we were engaged to be married, we probably could have worked things out. But it's one of them things where I'm glad that we were able to fix our friendship, and now we are great at co-parenting. He still sees about, Julian, and now he sees about Zara, and of course he sees about his own son, Trey. Um, I do thank God that regardless of my daughter's dad and my oldest son dad, that he was the one in the middle that decided to, step up in certain ways as far as like, still doing kind things for uh, Julian and Zara.
So, sis, sounds like he's a decent guy because out of the 3 baby daddies, it sounds like he's the only one that is doing what he's supposed to do for his own child, and apparently, stepping in whenever he can for the children that don't belong to him. So, why did y'all break up? Because you said y'all slowly drifted out. So, was it more you or him? Because she says when she got pregnant with him, he was living down the street from her. And she said that you could just move in with me since I'm already pregnant by you. Which, okay. So I'm going to be honest with you. From listening to this lady for the past couple of years, in and out with different stories, she definitely seems like a woman that's dealing with her own struggles. And unfortunately, it sounds like her kids get involved in it too. Obviously, they would. Just like when she went to Texas, she was literally in Texas. I don't even think she was there 60 days. Had those kids in a shelter, picking them up, having the school bus pick them up at the shelter. When and less than 90 days later, she picked up, went back, and at that time she did a GoFundMe then too. She picked up and went back to Memphis to the apartment that she said that she had to leave because the environment was too dangerous for her and her children. I remember her showing the video. She still had the Christmas tree up, and it was well past Christmas when she went back. It was probably like March when she went back because it was after tax season.
He's not obligated. He is only Trey's dad, but I do appreciate him for the things that he will do, even if it's cash apping, money over for all three of the kids or taking us out. We actually just went out a few days to go grab something to eat and ate at the park together. So that was really nice. And then there are days when, it's my birthday or Mother's Day, he'll send me something special or he'll send me a sweet text saying that, he loved me and wishing good positive things over me, which is really nice. He'll send things for Zara or Julian if it's their birthday or Christmas. So I'm glad that we have a really nice co-parenting relationship. But moving forward, so the homeless journey pretty much started during that era. I was a solo mom. Well, not solo mom. I was engaged to be married. And then I went on to we went on to separate. And when we separated, I had a hard time dealing with that because I had never been through such a horrific heartbreak. Julian began to love this guy just like I love this guy. And, he would be doing things with the boys together. And then when we separated,
Sis, Julian, which sounds like is your oldest son, definitely couldn't love him the way you loved him. Right? You had a different reason for loving him. You were intimate with him. Julian, it more than likely as a young lad admired the fact that there was a male role model in his life. Oh
it,
God.
it was hard initially because he would start just doing things for his son only. And I had to put a stop to that and say, hold on now. Like, I know we're separating, but if you're not going to be in Julian's life, then we need to go ahead and sit him down and let him know the truth about you not being his dad, because I hadn't told Julian, you know, the truth behind that. And he's at the time 3 or 4. So I'm like, I don't even know if my son would be able to digest or even truly comprehend what all that means. But I knew that we had to be honest with him because he was no longer going to see Marcus in the house and he was going to see his brother leaving the house at some point. So we sat down, we talked to Julian about it. But the way that it came out, it wasn't the nicest way, but we were still able to talk to him about it. And I feel like that's when a wedge kind of, grew in my household and things just started to kind of take a turn for the left. So, anyways, I ended up moving to Texas to try to live in Texas and start completely over because I wanted something fresh. It was a lot of medical jobs out there. I was working in healthcare at the time, and then I had a home girl at the time that stayed out there, and she, told me she would have my back if that was a move that I was going to make. And I ended up packing up me and Julian and his baby brother, and we ended up going to Dallas, Texas. Unfortunately, that friend ended up using me. I paid $700 for her rent, and the next day she put me and my children out of her home.
So she went to Texas twice because that's when she just had the two. When she went back to Texas most recently, she had the little girl. So she's tried Dallas not once but twice. So let me stop this real quick because I know a lot of you guys keep asking what she looks like, and maybe some of you because we haven't talked about her in a while. So let me show her picture. Let me hold on. This is her right here, you guys. Her channel used to be called Jasmine plus 3 or something to that effect, but this is her right here, okay? All right, so let's get back to the video. So let me get the video back on the screen. We're gonna start right at where we left off at.
Out there, but we had came home from hanging out and our things were outside and I couldn't get in the house for any reason. She wouldn't tell me why or anything. Literally took my money and yeah, put me and my kids out. Thankfully, I had came across a woman who was very kind, and she was able to get me and my kids to a bus station where we could get on the bus and get back home. I had no idea what I was going to do. I was heartbroken. Like it was like a double heartbreak because I had just got out of this engagement and going from a two-parent household, trying to raise my children up in a two-parent household to now someone I consider a best friend. I'm talking known since like middle school, 6th grade, and we're well into our young adult ages. For her to do something like that, it was so hurtful. And then you took from a single mom $700. And what's crazy about it is she called me from a private number to see had me and the kids made it back safely. And it's like, you're a punk ass bitch. Like you could have just been woman about it and just called my phone, told me who you were, instead of playing on my phone and asking me really quickly, are you back in Memphis? You know what I'm saying? Just weak as hell, just a mess. But anyway, I'm off of that, but I have to express how I feel. And it's going to be a lot of that going on in today's video. So just want to put a trigger warning out there. I will.
Hey, sis, come on now, because we have short attention spans. You got to get to the point. Why are we here?
Express how I feel because for years I've never did that. I would just let the shit sit on my chest. I would be so calm, cool, and collected about it, like how I'm talking about it right now. But the shit is bothering, it's upsetting. And one thing about me, I'm not gonna let the devil make space, make room, do nothing in my life. I've done it for years, not realizing that that is the enemy. And I'm just done with that. So in that situation, that was the enemy starting poverty in my life. That was the enemy starting lack in my life. That was the enemy starting, oh, you will never have successful relationships with people, whether it's a guy or a girl or in general. It just was horrific. And some people may take the conversation and say, okay, well, you didn't have to move to Texas. You chose to move to Texas. You didn't have to uproot your sons to go to Texas because you got out of an engagement. Well, here's the thing. When I got out of that engagement, I still had bills and he was paying the bills when we were living together. So that is another thing. I started to go through financial hardship.
So if you started going through financial hardship once y'all broke up, how did you think going to Texas, which obviously would be starting all over? It sounds like you didn't go with much more money than $700 because once you gave this so-called friend $700 and she put you out same day or the next day from what you state, you had to rely on a stranger to get you back to Memphis. So that $700 and whatever else you spent to get to Texas, you could have put that money on the bills. It's called not what I have seen so much on this internet, and it baffles the hell out of me, how people just decide one day that they want to go somewhere else, another state, and go with no money and dragging their kids behind. Now it's different when you take yourself. Like if you yourself want to go, that's fine. But when you got kids, it's no longer about you. It's about you and those children. And you try not to upset their lives trying to make your, sometimes you just got to make sacrifices. Just like that girl we talk about, the chosen family. She heading back to New York because she can't make it in Houston. It's not that you can't make it. You're not making the right decisions to make it. I see all the time on the internet how people are doing these gig works and they're making they're making a lot of money, especially for somebody who's not working a full-time job. A lot of these people are taking those those Uber Eats and the Door Dashing and the Sparking and the Instacart and Amazon Flexing. They're using all of those apps and making full-time work out of it. What I've noticed about this Jasmine girl, and for some of y'all coming in, this girl that we are listening to, she used to be a mod moderator for My Jazzy Life. That's how I was made aware of her. And a few years ago, her and My Jazzy Life got to beefing. They got to arguing on the internet. And so obviously she was no longer a mod. And so that's when Jasmine had the whole upset with her whole mod crew. She kind of kicked it off.
And during this time, I was not working. He was the one there working, paying the bills. I was staying home with the boys. And it was well understood that I was going to be a wife at home baking cookies and shit. I was not working. And I'm just.
Yes, you're talking about. I'll look them up. Funny you say that, Nisha. I was thinking about them the other day. I saw them last year. They end up getting a new house in Florida, a real nice house. But I can't remember her channel. I'll try to remember it. I think I'm gonna go to one of my reactions, and I got the name in my reaction video, and I'll go do an update on them. Thank you for reminding me.
It's gonna be all the way real with y'all. And we had that long discussion, and we had talk, like, hey, you're gonna get up, be the breadwinner, and I'm gonna be the breadwinner here at home, making sure home is set and together, whether it's, cooking, cleaning, taking care of the boys, taking care of myself, making sure you good when you get in, all that stuff.
Oh, so you wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. That's why you latched on to My Jazzy Life and the ladies in this mommy sector, because you were envisioning a life like that. Oh, so you want the man to sit and take care of you while you cook and clean and all that. Well, sis, okay. But apparently that wasn't his plan, because if that was, then he would have continued on with his efforts. And when you seen stuff was getting shaky, then that's when you should have been coming up with the plan B. Like, you got kids. Obviously, he had one by you too, but what'd he do? He's so great, but when he left you there responsible for the child that you and him share.
Now, before I had Trey, I was working in the hospital. But once I had my son, I went on maternity leave, and I never did go back in the hospital. That man wanted to take care of me and my sons, as a man should. And I was a happy at home, stay at home mom. Okay, so that's that. So that clears up the Texas thing, because I don't want nobody thinking, oh, well, you just uproot your kids. No, I didn't just uproot my kids based on my emotions. I do have a problem with dealing with my emotions when it comes to a specific relative, and that relative is my mom and also my dad, which we'll talk about really soon. So fast forward, come back from Dallas, Texas, dealing with a shitty friend who took $700 from me after paying her fucking rent. I didn't have nowhere to go. So I called my mom, and I ended up moving back in with her. She wasn't where she should be in life. I'll just put it like that. And so that created a lot of hostile, just nonsense. It was a lot of triggering things that went on from when I was a kid. I'm gonna go ahead and list some of those things really quickly. Some of those things, would include my mom and my dad separated when I was like 10 or 11. My mom went on to marry a guy who was very abusive. I still can't believe she married this man of a monster. Very abusive, very sick-minded, very all about himself. He's a liar. He's a thief. He damn near would have been a murderer had she stayed with him, because he put his hands on her often. So, I was subjected to a lot of, I'm the oldest, I need to help, blase bullshit. So I would see her getting hit. I would see her helping him. She would help him pay off child support to the first wife that he had, who he had kids with. She's trying to hold it down, raise us, and be a good stepmom to his kids. And then, they ended up living together and then getting a house built from the ground. He ended up helping her to get a truck or whatever, and they working things out being married. But aside from that home and them getting cars and trucks and shit together, that man was horrible. And right before she married this man, I remember being 10 years old, and I remember us having to live in the freaking projects with one of my aunts because my mom had to get on her feet. And when she came back, we lived in the projects probably like 2 months. And so when she came back saying, she loved us, she missed us, and she'll explain later, what she had to do. It'll all make sense. And we were just happy as kids, me and my sisters. I'm the oldest of technically 10 on my dad's side, but on my mom's side, I'm the oldest of three. So we were just on my mom's side, the three of us, me.
Oh my God. I do understand childhood trauma. I understand that, you guys. But at some point, especially when you yourself start becoming is a mother now, birthing children of your own, at some point you have to work through that trauma. You got to figure it out because you're doing this. This is excuse me, this is what happens.
Sakira and Candace, we were just happy to see our mom. So anyway, we moved into a small little home. We could walk to our school down the street. Everything was fine. But she ends up marrying this monstrous of a dude who is telling her he wants to marry her, blase, blase. And so they get married. We move in his shit. And then some years down the road, they ended up getting a house built from the ground. But now, mind you, this is after you done slapped her, kicked her, beat her, lured her off somewhere to hurt her. This is after you've played coming in our room to wake us up and rubbing folks down their fucking backside. He never did that with me that I'm aware of, or my sister Candace, but our middle sister who's no longer living, he would play waking her up and rubbing all down her back. And it's like, what the fuck is going on?
Whoa, sis, what is happening here? I didn't get to this part. Sis, what is happening? What's going on? This is what I'm talking about. Coming here to the internet is not healing. You're not telling people your business is not healing because we're not doing. What can we say or do? Nothing.
You are married to my mom. Why the fuck are you in here touching her daughter? Because that's basically what you're doing. We're just gonna call it what the fuck it is. You're touching her child. You know what I'm saying? And so I went through a whole lot dealing with that. There were times where I would literally get checked out of school and we would be hiding in freaking hotels from this man because my mom is too afraid to go home. And I remember telling her one day, look, look, you gotta figure something out because we're missing school. The schools are going to start catching on to us in our attendance. And then look at you. How could you raise daughters to not deal with an abusive man, but yet you're dealing with it? And I feel like she stayed in their relationship or their marriage rather because of money. This person was very, I guess you can say wealthy. I wouldn't say rich, but he made a lot of good money. And so I think it was just a money thing with her because he wasn't attractive by no means. But look, that is not my place to say that was her marriage. But
it was her marriage. Well, why are you on here telling us about it? Not it was her marriage, but you up here giving us the recap of it.
I think it was just something based around the money. And me and my sisters got like the backhand of it. You know, we living in a big ass house, but our mama getting punched around in it, or the police being called on her where he didn't lie and said she hit him, but it's the other way around. Like we were going through so fucking much. And I have cousins who were so jealous when we moved out of the hood over in the projects and we moved to their big house. Little do they know we were going through so fucking much. Would have rather been over there with the fucking rats, roaches, and sleeping on an airbed. No lie, than to be dealing with this man. And so, yeah, those are just a few things that, I went through with my mom, and I would always get blamed as the oldest child. You made me leave my husband up. I would die for mine, and I don't play about that. And that's for my boys too. So I teach my boys not to hit girls. I teach my girl not to hit boys. This shit goes both ways. So again, those are just some of the things that I had gone through. So fast forward,
Thank you.
she wasn't where she needed to be in life. And all of a sudden, oh, you're back from Texas and you have two kids. You need to figure this shit out. You're an adult, blase, blase. All of that is true. I'm woman enough to say that all of that is true. However, if I told you as a mom, hey, I had a friend that took $700 from me and put me and my children on the street, why would your response be something negative as far as I need to figure it out? And I have your
Because she told you the truth. What do you mean? Why would you tell your mom that you decided to uproot your two kids and move to Dallas, Texas with a friend, okay? And you gave her $700 and she ended up putting you out soon after you gave the 700. What response was your mother supposed to say to you? Obviously, she's supposed to say, okay, well, that was, you made a dumb decision. Because not only did it affect you, it affected your children. So now you're back in Memphis to start all over again. And let's be honest, sis, you came to go stay with your mom. It's not like you went and got your own place when you got back to Memphis. You went and stayed with your mama because now that you back up under her roof with your two kids, sis, she got a right to chastise you. If you didn't want to be chastised, you shouldn't have went back to her house.
Grandchildren with me. Again, she's not obligated to take care of me and my two kids. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you see your daughter going through a difficult moment in life, and instead of you giving me encouraging words or helping financially, you're kicking me while I'm down. And that's the problem that I have with my mom. She's always done that. And a lot of that stuff comes from her dating a dude that she dated. I remember one time, right before we moved in this big house with the guy that she had married, we were in the house that we moved in when we came out of the hood, right? We had the school down the street. Everything was fine until she got married. I remember me and my sister playing outside one day, me and my younger sister. And my younger sister wanted to ride my bike with me. So I told her, okay, cool. Just sit on the front.
What is she talking about? Jasmine, hold on, sis.
Poking me, calling me all kind of fat bitches, and to keep my hands off my sister. When I didn't even put my hands on my sister. We don't even hit each other. We wasn't them type of girls. Like, me and my sisters, we rarely even raised our voices at each other. I will give my mom that she raised me and my sisters to be close until later in life some shit was going on that she instigated between me and the sister that I'm talking about. But she raised my ass up and choked the living fuck out of me on the fucking wall. And that was the turning point of my relationship with her. That shit broke my spirit. But because that nigga was slapping you around, you thought it was okay to do your daughter like that. Like, was it that serious that you had to fucking hurt me? Okay, there's a difference between discipline your child.
Oh my God. Let me tell y'all something. I thank God that I didn't have that type of relationship with my mother. Did I get mad at my mama at times? Of course I did, right? Did she get mad at me? Of course she did. Especially when I did something stupid. But this right here, I would never.
And hurting your child. There's a discipline between your child fearing you and being scared of you. You know, parents, you can be your child's first bully in case you didn't fucking know that. You can. You could be their first bully or you could be their first hero, you know? So
Now I will admit with her, I will admit with her that there are parents out here that shouldn't be parents. I will admit that. I definitely would admit that. But it sounds like Jasmine needs to go to therapy, not come and do a docu-series on the internet. Because how is this healing you? And if you have that much animosity towards your mother, maybe you and your mother should go. Because especially you have, like Jasmine, the lady that's talking now, she has a little girl that's 4 years old. So the one thing you don't want 20 years from now is your daughter sitting on the internet talking about you. Because I'm pretty sure your daughter can tell a story. I'm pretty sure her little 4-year-old daughter can tell a story. So to stop this cycle, right? Why not just you and your mother both? And then if your mother is not willing to heal with you, then heal on your own and pray for your mama. Like, that's all you can, because you can't make people do right. As bad as you want people to do right, you can't make them do right. So if her mother is not in agreement, or if her mother feels like you're making this more than what it is, that's your perception of me, that's not, whatever. If her mother's not willing to admit that there is their relationship is very estranged based off Jasmine's account, then okay, since your mother's not going to be a part of the healing, then go heal yourself. So now that you have a daughter yourself, you can have a better relationship with your girl child.
yeah, and so it just was a horrific. again, not happy with where she wants to be in life
Exactly.
as my mom or whatever. So, long story short, the kids and I, we only went back for a short while and then I left because she was still, just complaining about me being there. And I just couldn't figure out why, like making it seem like, I'm wasting my life and I need to do this and I need to do that. And I was like, you know what? An adult. I got to figure this shit out and I'm going to figure this shit out. And that's when I decided to go into hotels and extended stays. And, I ended up bouncing back and getting back on my feet. And crazy how the tables turned. I was living out in a small town right outside of Memphis, and I'm currently back living in this small town. It's crazy how the tables turned. So I moved to this small town right outside of Memphis, and long story short, she ended up needing somewhere to go, her and my sister at the time. And my sister moved in with me first, and things were good. Me and my sister were doing just fine. As soon as my mom moved in, that's when all hell broke loose. She did everything in her power to break up me and my sister relationship. And it's sad because my sister is the baby daughter. So she has a lot of powerful influence over her mind, especially with my sister being the baby. Most younger siblings, they up their parents' ass. And I don't say that in a negative way, but they are. And so she knew that, oh, I could influence the younger daughter to not like the oldest daughter for whatever reason. I know what the reason is now, which I'm gonna get to, but they ended up needing to stay with me. Okay, so boom, I ended up doing something that cost me our home, basically, our livelihood. And I ended up stealing. I'm just going to keep it real. This is something I've never shared on my YouTube channel. I'm just ready to release this shit and be done with it and get it off my back. I ended up going through a difficult time, trying to get back to work. Had just filed taxes, money had ran dry, and I had the kids getting ready to gear up for school. I wasn't in the position to do what I needed to do to get trade pull ups and get some things going for back to school at that time. And I ended up seeing a credit card or debit card on the ground going inside of Walmart, picked it up, tossed it to the side. Then something, well, not something, the devil basically got in my mind, and I ended up going back to get the credit card. I tried to use it in Walmart twice, and then after I left there, I tried to get gas with it because I needed gas, and the card didn't work. So I threw the card away. I swiped the card 3 times, twice in Walmart and once to get gas. I say like 3 or 4 months had passed. I get a knock at the door. Boom, boom, boom. It's the police. Are you, Jasmine so and so? And I'm like, yes, turn around. You're under arrest. And I couldn't figure out why the fuck I was under arrest. I was like, oh my God, they got the wrong person. Who the fuck would call the police on me? I didn't know what to think. And
So this is why your mother was having that conversation with you. Sis, it sounds like you stay making bad decisions. You seen a credit card on the ground. Again, this is not 1980. This is not 1995. Okay. This was probably in the mid 2000s. Yeah, the things that you could get away with credit cards back in the 90s, 80s, you damn sure can't do it in the 2000s. You seen a credit card or a debit card on the ground and you didn't even did you get anything out of it? Apparently you had to get something out of it because how did they know to come get you? How did they know to come to her house? If you swiped the card 3 times and it didn't work, why would you swipe the card at 2 different locations and it didn't work? If it didn't work at Walmart, why would you think it was going to work at the gas station?
they were like, did you misuse a card? And I was like, fuck. And I was honest about it. I said, yes, I did. And I said, like, we could search my garbage can. I could help you. I could help find the fucking card or whatever I got to do to keep from going to jail. And that shit didn't work. Like, me being honest did not work because I had no business doing it in the first place. Trying to get, like I said, back to school stuff, pull ups, trying to get gas, in a just a vulnerable ass place financially, and did something stupid. So it got back to my landlord.
So you actually did use the card. So you so you were able to use the card? Because you said you just threw it away when it didn't work at the gas station. So you did get stuff out the card? Apparently so, because you said you needed pull-ups, gas for the car, back to school clothes. Right, because she lying. Yeah, you obviously, if you swiped the card and didn't get nothing out of it, baby, they're not coming to look for you. You got something out of it. That's why they came and looked for you.
And at the time, where I live was based on basically like the government. So with that getting back to my landlord, I ended up getting evicted. And that's when the kids and I moved to Georgia. I probably have videos and pictures throughout this video as I talk. I don't know. But that's when I ended up moving to Georgia, and we lived in a shelter amongst other single mothers who had kids. And it just, the cycle continued again, with homelessness. I knew better not to swipe off that card. I knew better not to get desperate like that. And I should have made a better decision as a mom. This ain't even as a woman, this is as a mom. I cost me and my children, I felt like, our livelihood all over again. And it was, yeah, it was just a hard thing that I had to go through. It was a hard pill to swallow. It was a bed that I messed up and had to remake. After the Georgia situation and just going through that whole situation, I really had to sit with my thoughts. I remember that season specifically. It wasn't no turn to your left, turn to your right. It was none of that. I really had to sit in that, and it was a horrific thing to go through. The only beautiful thing in that was that, I didn't end up hurt. The main thing is that my kids didn't end up hurt. And they also went to really good schools. I remember specifically the school that Julian attended. He didn't get in any trouble at that school, as a matter of fact. And I remember the school that Trey went to. Trey cried a lot because he obviously missed being in Memphis, Tennessee, near his dad. And then he was so used to being with mom. It was just a whole new thing. He eventually got it together where he wasn't crying, but they both went to damn good schools. And if I
Yeah, but you notice how she breezed right over that credit card story. She spent 20 minutes talking about her mama and her mama's I don't know if it's ex-husband or husband at the time. But honey, she took 3 minutes to tell her whole credit card story. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, what is with you in all these shelters? You keep bopping from state to state, living in shelters. She's the only person I know or have heard of that goes to these shelters and don't get permanent housing from them. Because typically, you if you stay in there long enough, you can get permanent housing. You go to these shelters, and it sounds like she don't even stay that long. Who card was it? It had to be somebody's card she knew. It had to be. Because even with surveillance camera, unless she's been in trouble before, how would they know who she was? Did they post her picture on the Memphis 10 o'clock news or something? How would they know who she was by a grainy photo, video camera? And I don't know if it's grainy. I'm just saying that because when I watch those crime stories, the video always be real grainy. So she obviously had to use somebody's credit card that she knew.
have those photos, I would definitely put it up on the screen. I don't share many photos and videos of my kids because I feel like y'all can see that in the vlogs. But then also, the internet is very weird as fuck. I've seen people actually ask content creators to share a picture of their babies. Like, why the fuck do you want to see a baby? But anyway, if I had the photos to share, it'll be on the screen. So fast forward, homeless in Texas, shitty friend, moved back to the city, shitty mom. Mom needed help to stay with me. And all of a sudden I get into some legal trouble. Okay, so now I'm being put out. Y'all might be thinking, okay, what happened to your mom and sister who were living with?
So you were living in low income housing. Your mama and your sister were staying with you. They weren't giving you money for staying there? I thought she said her mama was a pharmacist or something like that. I could have swore she said that. She made it like, when I reacted on her about 2 years ago, she made it like her mama had money. She said her mother was in the medical profession. I can't remember exactly what she said. But if your mom was living with you, your sister was living with you, they couldn't give you any money? And then what about the terrific baby daddy, the Trey's dad, the middle child? What about him? He's such a good co-parent. Y'all co-parent so well. You said he sends cash apps and birthdays and Christmas gifts. If you needed back to school clothes, he couldn't help you out with that. You resorted to stealing credit card, putting yourself even further behind.
With you. Well, they had to move out because I had to move out. Clearly, I went on to do my own thing and find my way in Georgia. My sister had actually went to Georgia and landed a job and was staying with one of her friends that she knew. I didn't feel comfortable going with my sister simply because I have kids. And at the time, my sister didn't have any kids. And then also, we were living two different lives. And I needed me and my sister to take a break from each other so we could get our relationship together, so that we could get our relationship back together, because there was a lot of repairing that needed to be done. My sister and I, we actually almost fought in my house when they were staying with me. And it was because of some things that my mom had stirred up. And again, just the need to break up relationships. My mom grew up before she could even turn, I think, 6 or 7 years old. She did not have her dad. Her dad died when she was young. Her mother was 14 when she had her and her sister, which is my aunt. So by the time her mom, which is my grandmother, got to be maybe 16 or 17, she was already a mother of two. So you can imagine how my mom grew up. Her mama used to fight her and smack her. And this
I
is not
agree
something I'm
constantly.
saying to derogatory my grandmother, but you were hateful as fuck to your daughter. And we got a taste of that later
Wait, so now we dragging grandma into the Oh my God, this lady.
in adulthood, because at some point we had to go and live with my mom's mom, my grandmother, and she was horrible, cursing, wanting to fight. 1 minute it's I love you, then I hate you, calling people bitches, smacking people around, just horrible. And her sister was no better, two-faced, talk about her sister like a fucking dog, but you're supposed to be our auntie. I'm just saying what it is. And because my aunt and my grandmother got along so well, my mother always felt like an outcast. Now, my mom ain't perfect in this by no means, but at the end of the day, y'all hated my mom.
Wait, what does this have to do with you landing in Georgia in a shelter? How did we, you just breezed right over you got into some credit card trouble. Did you go to jail? Cuz you skipped right over that and then you ended up in Georgia in a shelter. How you get from Memphis credit card scam and then now you're in Georgia in a shelter? Now you're talking about mama, grandma and your mama's sister, which is your auntie. What in the world?
It's a difference between like how I feel towards my mom. Like I just want our relationship to get better. I don't hate the woman. That's on a whole nother freaking level. Although she's done some shit to break my spirit, it is God, baby, that's keeping me from hating her. So the kids and I are doing life in Georgia. Things were starting to just take a turn for the left. There were no true resources in Georgia. Although they provided like the shelter and they could write up the letter, you could get your kids in nearby schools. I didn't have any much luck with finding work. And so that led me to coming back to Tennessee to try things again here in Tennessee. And the only issues I've always had with Tennessee is that they don't pay very well. It's like if you're not a lawyer, a doctor, a teacher, your ass ain't making shit. Or if you ain't a nurse, you ain't making nothing. And that's what I'm like, that's my only thing with living in the Memphis, Tennessee area, which now I live in a small town outside of Memphis that I was telling you all about. And that's why this is my testimony, because although I stole and swiped that credit card 3 times, I was supposed to go to prison, y'all, for 3 years. I had no track record of breaking the law. I had no track record of being in the system at all as far as the law. And so that is what saved my ass from going to jail. However many times you commit credit card fraud, that's however many times you swipe, on the credit card pertaining to credit card fraud is usually how many years you will go to jail. So I swiped 3 times. I was supposed to do 3 years in jail.
What? So they go by how many times you swipe the card. That's how many years you get. Well, it's people who have done credit card scams, baby. They go on a whole. Yeah, they be. I mean, they be touring. They be going state to state, city to city, and I ain't never would. If they swiped it 100 times, they get 100 years. Not for every swipe you get. For every. What about a half swipe? What if the card declined? What if you swipe it and it declined? That still count as a swipe?
Yeah, but when I tell you God was with me, God was with me. And even when my mom came and picked me up from jail, mind you, you living in my shit. You have a whole fucking attitude and hung up the phone on me while I'm calling you from jail, telling me that I'm stupid, I shouldn't have did that, calling me bitches and, saying a lot of hateful shit. Finally, I went early that morning. I didn't get out till late that night when she finally picked me up and telling me, tell me what you did, tell me what you did. First of all, I'm a grown ass woman. You're staying in my shit. I don't have to tell you a damn thing.
Well, if you a grown ass woman, why did you call her to come get you? Not the grown ass woman getting an attitude because she effed up and her mama checking her about it. And now your rebuttal is, I'm a grown ass woman. You living in my house. But yes, she had to come pick your grown ass up. Sis, are you okay?
Second of all, if you was half the mom that you're supposed to be, maybe we could talk. You are not the mom that I grew up with after marrying that loser of an ass husband who later put you and your kids out. Didn't give a fuck that you lost your daughter or nothing. Evil ass man. So anyway, I never did tell her. She probably would find out in this video. Everybody would find out. It's news for everybody. I don't give a fuck. It's my testimony. It's my story. I say it when I get ready. This is my YouTube channel. I don't give a fuck. And I hate to sound so harsh like that, but that's how I'm coming because I've held this shit in for a long time and shit still is trying to go on and I'm not allowing it. I'm in my 30s now. My ass was early 20s when I decided to hop on YouTube and decided to make. And the memories that I'm making is for my kids. It's never for anybody else. This is a documentation and little diary, if you will, of our lives.
Girl, this ain't no diary. Baby, let me tell you something. This ain't no diary I would want my mama to put out. The hell you say? Talking about little diary. No, it's not.
So my children can have videos to look back on. So fast.
Your children want to wait. So you did this, so this is something your kids can come find 10 years from now? How they mama almost did 3 years for credit card fraud because she swiped the card 3 different times? Okay, girl.
Forward, come back from Georgia to Tennessee. And I stayed with my ex-fiance, which is Trey's dad. Yeah, so I moved back in with him.
Girl, you do a lot of staying with people. If you ain't staying with somebody, you staying in a shelter.
The kids and I, Julian and Trey at the time, and things were going fine up until a situation happened where me and his dad had stayed up a little late at night. His dad had had a couple of drinks and he was trying to get a little frisky with me in the bed. And I'm like, dude, like, we are not laying up. We ain't had sex in years. I am not here to just hoe around with you. I'm here to get up on my feet with my children. That's it. You are just merely providing a roof. It didn't come with pussy. And I'm just going to keep it real. And so, anyway, people took that when I had explained that in one of my videos. People took that like, oh, a guy that she keep praising for raising her oldest son and who she had a baby by, her ex-fiance, but she's putting him on a pedestal after he tried to touch her inappropriately and he also touched her son. That man ain't never touched my son Julian, and Julian can tell you this himself. Okay, he could tell you this himself. He's never touched my child. And that's so sad that when I had that video out at that time of, transitioning from Georgia and living back with my ex-fiance, that people would even think anything like that. Like, that's very sick-minded to say. That's very sick-minded to say. He has a son, which is Julian's brother, which is Trey. Why would Trey dad touch Julian?
Never mind.
He's not that type of dude. Okay, he had a couple of drinks and wanted some pussy that night, but he didn't want a child's diggling. Like I'ma just
What in the world? Oh, girl, you done went way. Hey, sis, I need you to bring it back because hey, we ain't come here for all this.
say what it is, because you got people out there that's thinking it, and this shit was never true. My son Julian was in the bathroom. He tends to take a while. This particular time he was taking a while, and Trey had to use the bathroom really bad. And so his dad opened the door and he hurried up and shut it because Julian wasn't done. That was it. It was never him touching my fucking son. So yeah, I'm done with that. So anyway, living with him after coming back from Georgia, when that situation happened, I was like, you know what, it's time to just, do my own thing. Of course, I could have stayed there and weathered that little storm, but it just got to be uncomfortable. He lives in a studio apartment. So the boys would take the couch and the air bed, and me and him would literally sleep in the bed together. He would sleep at the top of the bed, I would sleep at the bottom of the bed. And it just
Oh my God, I'm about to throw this phone. Not this phone. She didn't got me confused. Wait, what? This your baby daddy, Lil Trey's daddy, your second oldest child. You leave Georgia desperate. Don't got a place because before you left, you got jammed up in some kind of credit card situation and almost did 3 years for 3 swipes of the card and got put out of your low income apartment. Sound like today, minus the credit card fraud. And so then you needed a place to stay. And so you called up old Trey's dad, old Faithful. And he said, yeah, I ain't got nothing but a studio apartment, but y'all can come. Yeah, you the mama of my child. Come on. So you got 2 kids, 2 boys. They sleep on the couch. You and the baby daddy sleep in his bed. We don't know if it's full size, twin, king size. We just know it's a bed. And he slept at the top of the bed, and you slept at the bottom of the bed. And then one particular night, he over there, gone off that, I don't know. What was that drink, y'all, that Jasmine and Chris used to drink all the time? You was gone off that, whatever drink y'all was over there. I can't think of the name of the drink. And he wanted some tail. And you said, this ain't what this is. I'm just here trying to get up on my feet. Taylor Port. Thank you, user. Y'all, he was gone off that Taylor Port. And he wanted a little tail. Thank you, Latoy. And you said, nah, this ain't it. I do understand I'm sleeping in your bed. I don't know if she had on panties or didn't have on panties. I don't know if you slept in full body gear. Or you wore a little negligee to the bed. I don't know what you had on in the bed. But you felt some type of way because he wanted to touch on you. And you sleeping in the same bed with the man every night as if y'all never had relationship before. And you was trying to figure out why he was trying to get frisky with you. You couldn't understand that? You said you was just there for a place to stay, not a place to lay. Say he can't lay with you. He can stay with you. Where you can stay with him, but you can't lay with him. No wonder you was cool with Jazzy, because both of y'all got the sense that God gave a goose.
this was too fucking much. I'm like, no. I need to get out of this situation. I don't need nobody thinking I owe them anything. And especially when it comes to my body, drunk or not, you know what the fuck you doing. And, that was another situation and hurtful experience. So move out of there into a hotel, and was at the hotel like a couple of days. And then from there, again, the homeless journey starts again. So I just stayed down at the hotel until I decided to do an extended stay because I was spending so much money on daily rates, and I didn't know anything truly about like extended stays. Like I tried the extended stays before, but I still was being charged like daily. I don't know if I was at the right location or what, but I'm trying to think of the extended stay that I had went to initially. I know one of them was called Extended Stay America, and they didn't cheat me and charge me per day and a percentage for this and call reservation for this and that. Like you have to be very.
Oh my God, sis. Hold on. I gotta take a break because God, dog. So for all of y'all coming in, Jesus Christ. This lady is my Jazzy Life's ex mod. If you was here back around the Chris days, the my Jazzy Life baby daddy Chris, then y'all would know who this is. She used to be in Jasmine's chat all the time where her and Jasmine got to beef in a few moment, y'all. I'm getting ready to show y'all her picture. So I'm gonna put a face with the name so y'all can see who we talking about.
Whole back to school haul is usually when the kids can shine and get the things that they like. So let's go ahead and see what's in the first bag. So starting out, I'm just gonna lay it on my lap. So starting out at Five Below, I got these desk mat organizers. It says they are fox leather once. It's a fox leather one slip pocket.
So this is her, y'all. This is Jasmine, okay? Oh boy. All right. And if you guys been following me for a while, y'all know we did reactions on her about 2 years ago, I think it was. I can't remember. It was either yeah, I think it was 2 years ago. But hold on. I need to get to the part. We're gonna go to part three. Okay. We're gonna go to part three. Because part two is 40 minutes and I can't. I think part three is a little hold on. Give me a moment. Let me figure this one out. Give me one moment. All right, let me go back.
Mom and dealing with certain relatives within our family, such as my aunt and my grandmother, who were very non supportive because they hated my mom. Also, my dad, who hated my mom, things like that. That's what part one was all about. Part two of my testimony was pretty much just about like recapping certain pictures and going into what's currently going on in 2026 with me and my mom as far as our
Breathe.
relationship not being a good relationship and me having to cut all ties with her for good. Um, at least for a while so that I can continue to heal and grow and mature and forgive, and so that God can do the work on my heart, most of all my spirit, because my mom broke my spirit. And if you've ever dealt with a toxic person in your life that has done that, I would highly recommend that you seek God before anything. Go through whatever resources that you need to get the help that you need, whether it's counseling, therapy, or whatever, and that you break all, ties as far as communications and visiting and things like that. You have to have healthy boundaries. Today, I just kind of wanted to touch a little bit on when I moved back to Texas the second time. I had moved back to Texas the second time. You guys know in part one, I told you I moved to Texas after my engagement had failed, and I moved in with a friend. pay her rent of $700. She literally kicked me and the boys out at the time. Didn't have nowhere to go. So I moved back to Tennessee. I fell on homelessness again after the first Texas situation dealing with a shitty friend. I fell on homelessness again by committing credit card fraud. I talked about that. So if you missed it in part one, I would highly recommend you go and listen to that part. And it almost landed me going to jail 3 years. Thank God I had never got into any legal trouble. So the case was dismissed. I talked about how my mother came and got me from jail. She proceeded to talk shit and judge me, and without even knowing what had happened. And that was all the more reason I didn't tell her what happened. But at the time, her and my sister was living with me. And when I had to move due to credit card fraud, they had to move, obviously. And so that's when I went to Georgia and stayed in a shelter. And then I came back, lived with my ex fiance for a short while. And then I landed my new apartment. That is my very first video. If you scroll down to my very first video on this channel, you will see our luxury apartment tour. And from there, my car was wrecked and stolen by a 16-year-old boy, which led to me experiencing job loss. And then I had to keep running up to Julian's school, dealing with a 504 plan and an IEP and what would work best for him. Having ADHD, he was always an exceptional student, but he had behavioral problems. And
Do you think maybe his behavioral problems and 504 plans and all that had anything to do with no stability? And even in the midst of all that Julian, which is her oldest child, was going through, you thought it was a good idea to go back to Texas for the second time? And you didn't even go back into your own place. You went to a shelter and didn't even stay 90 days. I think she stayed like 2 months and hightailed it right back to Memphis.
a lot of it just stemmed from his father not being actively in his life and him just trying to figure out his identity that was stripped from him. So
So his daddy not being a part of his life is the reason why he was going through what. But I thought you said Trey's dad was a good role model for him. Y'all notice, and we didn't listen to part two, but we listened to all of part one. Trust me, part two was just a repeat of part one. But do y'all notice how it's everybody's fault but hers? Mama, sister, auntie, grandma, the card, somebody dropping the card out their purse or wallet or whatever, laying on the naked ground, tempted her to pick it up and swipe it 3 times. It almost did 3 years for 3 swipes. Do y'all notice?
long story short,
I'm sorry. Do y'all notice how everything is everybody's fault, but never hers? She blames everybody. You don't want. Here's the thing: you are the one who had Julian in your custody, right? I'm not saying the lack of having his dad didn't affect him at some point, but the constant moving, changing schools, meeting new people, especially having ADHD, that was probably traumatic to him. So you don't think again, the reason why your mama said get your ish together was for that reason.
ended up losing that luxury apartment mainly due to transportation and not being able to keep my kids in school so that I could work. And even, catching a bus in that area, it just was a lot of, it just was so much to do. So anyway, I ended up going to Texas to try to get something back going again. But this time it was just me and the kids. It was me, Julian, Trey, and Zara. And we were out there for like 2 or 3 months. I came back because my landlord told me that I guess I wasn't evicted, which didn't make sense. I had a whole detainer letter going to court and everything. So this was my first time really facing a true eviction. So
who remembers this? Who remember her telling this story? The reason why she went to Texas because she was being evicted. She said she told us about the car got wrecked, all of this going on. Remember, this was the whole reason why she had to leave that apartment in Memphis because it was a bad neighborhood. She felt scared for her and her children, and the landlord was evicting her. She had an eviction letter, and remember, she went to Texas, stayed for like 60 days, and then are ironically popped back up in Memphis and went into the same apartment with the Christmas tree still up. Now the story has changed. Now your landlord contacted you. Why would the landlord contact you and say, "Hey, you not how did your landlord not know that you wasn't living in your apartment every day?"
I'm like, am I evicted or am I not? And then that's when I was listening to my mom yet again for advice. And she goes, girl, you're evicted. It's a detainer letter. You're evicted. So I'm thinking this whole time, like, oh, I'm actually evicted, and then left and uprooted me and my kids to move to Texas. And then my landlord is basically telling me the same thing, but coming to find out, I had got a call from her office, not directly from her, but I got a call from the landlord office from I think it was like, I don't know. I can't remember the person's name, but they told me they had talked to the Bear firm or something like that, and something about if I pay whatever amount it was. I think it was like between $2,000 or $3,000 I could continue to live there. And so I remember applying for some assistance. The assistance paid most of it, but it wasn't enough to cover everything. So I ended up losing the spot. And so fast forward, go to Texas, try to get some going, come back, live in an apartment, lose the spot. And then from there, I kind of just wander around the city looking for a new place.
So when you went to Texas and stayed for 2 months and stayed in a shelter, you got I think that she had got her tax money or something. I remember when she left the shelter, they went and stayed in a hotel. And from the hotel, they ended up going back to Memphis. So she went back to Memphis, moved into the apartment that apparently she was never put out of, but she told us she was. She did a GoFundMe and everything. You end up losing that anyway. So you officially really did lose it the next time. The first time you didn't, but the second time you did. Oh my God.
We lived in a Super 8. We lived in extended stays. We lived in multiple hotels. We lived in my car. It was just something I really hate that had happened to us. I really hate that I didn't have the will or the mindset to overcome the obstacle when my car was wrecked and stolen. The 16-year-old boy that did that, I never pressed charges because I didn't want to have him and his mom put out. You know what I mean? I told the woman, I said, I'm just going to pray for your son. I'm going to pray for your situation.
Wait, a 16-year-old steals your car, wrecks it, which causes you, from what you state, to lose your job and your place to stay. But you decided to save him because you didn't want him and his mama put out, but yet you got put out. So the 16-year-old boy got a pass, but the internet had to fit the bill. Oh, okay.
I said from black mom to black mom and single mom to single mom, I'm not going to press charges against your son. I said, I'm just going to pray. And so I never did press charges on it. I know anybody else probably would have, but I didn't. And yeah, I could have pressed charges. I could have beat the case and, got some more legal assistance that could have helped me towards my bill and my bills and job loss due to him stealing the car. But I didn't fight, and that's one thing I've been working on is fighting back, not literally fighting physically, but like fighting back legally, having things in black and white, having, lawyers or whoever, counselors, whatever, that can vouch for me and work on my behalf. And so after we got done, pretty much hotel hopping in Tennessee, I moved up north where my sister reside. I did not move in with my sister because I did not want it to be a thing of like friction or something going on, because we have had past events go on between us due to my mother, again, getting a.
Thank you, Mo Lady, for the gift. I appreciate you. So when she says she moved up north, she moved to NYC. That was the last time we talked about her. I think that was in 2024, y'all, when she moved to New York. So, and she didn't stay there long either. Just a few months. And then she went back to Memphis.
My sister head and trying to break up our relationship because, again, my mama did not have a good relationship with her mom. By the time she was 6 or 7 years old, she had already lost her father. And then she didn't really have a good relationship with her sister. So I feel like a lot of stuff that my mom went through, she tried to repeat in me and my sister life, on top of not liking our father for whatever reason. So, needless to say, and I say for the infidelity that she did, just face your infidelity that you did. You cheated in your marriage, forgive yourself and move on from that. Don't treat us bad. Don't treat us bad because you cheated within your marriage. Like I said in part one and part two, me and my sister, we did not deserve that. And you have grandchildren. I have two boys and a daughter. My sister has one son. You have all these grandchildren, and they should know their grandmother. They should know family. They should be able to come around family, and it's not awkward or someone's cursing, fighting, and stuff like that. So when I was out there in New York, I ended up getting a hotel paid at no cost to me. Thank God for New York City. They housed me and my children at a hotel that we did not have to pay for. And it was kind of like a lived in shelter type of hotel, but it was a space and place where I could pray, where I can basically lament to God and talk to Him about how I feel. And I could really break off the strongholds that were on me that I didn't even realize was so deep on me. I could forgive myself for my own sins and not have it lingering over my head, because for years I had it lingering over my head. Oh, if you never committed credit card fraud, you would still have your place that you were living at, and blase, blase, blase. But who's to say that I would still have that place? Again, my mother and sister was living with me at that time. Who knows what would have happened? If I didn't get myself put out, they probably would have got me put out at some point. But and it's sad.
Wait, what? Hi, Pearl. Thank you so much for the gift, sis. I really appreciate you. Thank you, baby. So wait, you're saying had you not committed the credit card fraud and got put out of your place, because obviously you can't have uh but my thing is, why would you get put out of the low income apartment because the credit card fraud when you hadn't even got found guilty of it? It was just a charge. And you said they end up throwing it out. So you're saying, had that not ever happened, you were bound to get put out anyway because your mama and your sister would have did something to sabotage it. How do you know that? Like, this lady is not wrapped too tight.
To think that way. I just know things happen for a greater glory, because God has since then moved me back from New York City, living in a shelter hotel in New York City. He blessed me with work coming back to Memphis, Tennessee. Um, he blessed me with getting an apartment. It was a very dark, gloomy apartment, a lot of nonsense going on over there, but he did bless me with an apartment. And I was in that apartment for a good 8 to 9 months. And then I moved in the house that I'm currently living in, which is this small town that I had stayed in when I first started homeschooling, when I first started making things like Easter baskets and kids baskets and all that stuff that y'all used to love to see me do on here.
Homeschooling? What? When did you have time to homeschool and y'all was staying in hotels and stuff? When did you have time for that?
This was the first area where the kids just grew up and had tons of memories. This was the first area where my mom and sister had once stayed with me, and I committed credit card fraud. They are under new management. So when they called me to live back out here, I was shocked. I didn't think that it was something that I would ever be able to I didn't think it was something. I mean, I didn't think it was a place I would ever return to. I knew this was where I wanted to be because it's a safe space compared to Memphis, Tennessee. And so when I got the call to move back, it's crazy because I had a call to move in a townhome, and I chose to move back out this way because I knew the kids and I would be safe versus staying in Memphis, Tennessee. And I knew that that was God telling me to go back. And so I just was praising Him and thanking Him for keeping me and the kids through the transition of homelessness. I was thanking Him and praising Him for answering my prayers to live back in this small city. And I told myself, don't let
Right, Mo lady,
nothing and nobody take you off your course this time. Don't make no hasty decisions this time. Yeah, I made a mistake and committed credit card fraud. Yeah, I made.
So wait, so she's back at the apartment that she said the landlord found out that she got arrested for credit card fraud and got her put out, or told her she got put out. She's back at those apartments. Several years later, you're back there. I mean, the credit card fraud, you said the case got dismissed. So it wouldn't be on your record, right?
Made a mistake to move in with a shitty friend, but at the end of the day, my heart was always in the right place to do the best thing for my kids. And I'm glad that me and my kids are safe, still together. We look healthy and great, and we're doing okay. Obviously, there are some things that I still want to work on with my oldest son, who's 15, Julian, who had been through quite a bit, especially with his father not being actively in his life. But even with that, my children will get up and get dressed and go to church with me. My son is not at the age where he's bucking the system, coming in at the house when he feel like it, none of that. So as long as I can still get him up and off the church, man, don't tell me what God can't do. And they didn't miss a beat. They kept clean clothes. They celebrated Christmas in those hotels. They celebrated birthdays. If a birthday came around in those hotels, there were times where I still would meet up with family. Yes, my mom, her current husband, her mom, my aunt. I would still meet up with certain people to celebrate their birthdays. I just did my best to keep things as normal as possible, regardless of what I was going through financially. And I just thank God for just pulling me out of the stronghold of poverty, of lack, of feeling like I won't make it without a man, or feeling like I won't make it without uh, the help from my mom, the toxic help, because it really ain't help, it's toxic, the toxic help. I just think that he pulled all of those strongholds off of me. The need to, you know, have self pity, or people feel sorry for me for what I'm going through, just all the things. Um, Sleeping some nights and having paralyzed thinking and can't get up, or not wanting to live, depression and anxiety. I thank God for pulling me out of those things. And I thank God that, above everything that has ever happened, I didn't give up. There were moments where I wanted to give up. I could just lay back in the tub.
You know what? Let me say this, y'all, because this lady has worn me out. Let me say this. Even with all that she's saying, I noticed she's speaking a lot about God and going to church and praying and that. And yes, those are the things you should do. But I noticed one thing she did not mention: therapy. She never mentioned that. She never mentioned that. And she definitely would be a good candidate for it, you know. Uh, I don't know. That's a lot going on over there. Wow. What's so funny, y'all? Like I said, I hadn't seen this lady in a couple years. I kind of forgot about her. And it's just funny how so much be going on and you don't even know it. Like I said, all that time we seen her in My Jazzy Life's chat, wrestling with the people in the comments, blocking folks, and girl, you was pillar to post. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to me personally, my living situation would should have been far more important than what some chick is talking about on the internet. She has all the answers. Why talk to someone besides the voices in her hollow? Baby, I have no idea. But that lady, she's very exhausting. Like, I am tired. I am wore out um from her situation. Like, it's a lot going on over there. Thankfully, she does have, it sounds like, a stable place now that goes by income. She says she's living outside of Memphis, Tennessee. Y'all, all I can say is it just be a lot going on when it comes to this internet thing, and how people have normalized coming to the internet trauma dumping. I just don't understand it, because they do that and nothing ever seems to get better. Y'all know we've been watching Olivia for years, and Olivia has continuously trauma dumped on the internet. And we just saw Olivia come to show us her C-section scar. Like, nothing gets better with these people because they're so uber focused on the internet. And one thing about Jasmine, the lady we just watched, she really wants to be a stay-at-home mom. Like, that's, you could tell that's her desire. And the whole YouTube channel thing um is something else. But I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. I just wish people would really stop depending on other people to do things for you. To stop depending on other people to do things for you. Because one thing's for sure and two things for certain. When you're dealing with somebody else doing something for you, they'll be the first ones to let you down. But you're not going to be too quick to let your own self down. But when you rely on other people, you give them the opportunity, you open the door for them to disappoint you, right? Yeah, Queen Op is one of them too. I definitely agree. Queen Op is in her 40s on the internet panhandling. Like that, I mean, the internet now is the modern day panhandling. I don't understand how people think it's a good idea to ask other people to take care of you. What about taking care of yourself? And let's be honest, I'm not going to say people won't continue to do it because we see Queen Op, they continuously keep helping her. But Queen Op is dragging that little girl around Summer so the internet can feel sorry for her. So again, you're using your child for the empathy and sympathy of the internet. How does that make you a good person? You essentially virtually pimping out your daughter. Oh yeah, it was Mo Lady. I'm telling you, it looked like a shark's mouth. Okay, I showed y'all that you missed it, Mo Lady. This is what Olivia's C-section scar literally looked like. When I saw it, I was like, it was giving Jaws. This is what it looked like to me. I was like, what in the world is that? Like, yikes, that's scary looking. Like, girl, ain't no way in the world I would come to that. Like, at the end of the day, when it comes to Olivia, y'all can believe I had a C-section or not. I'm not coming here I wouldn't give a damn what y'all think. I know what I feel. Okay? I feel like I just had a C-section. Yes, it do. It looked like a jaws. Jaws look like a shark's mouth. That's what it looks like to me. Oh my God, you guys, I am so exhausted. I can't believe this. Like, I can't believe that story was traumatic. It just, not even what she went through, it's just all the things she said and told. So now that she's in this apartment that goes by her income, I guess she feels like she's made it. But my thing is, like, sis, just don't stop there. Like, what are you doing to better yourself? What are you doing to make sure that any event, God forbid, anything happens where your housing situation um can be in jeopardy? What are you doing to ensure that you don't have to go back to these extended stays and hotels and asking your baby daddy, can you stay with them? You don't want to lay with them, you just want to stay with them. Like, what do you do to ensure that these things don't happen anymore? Like, it's funny to me how these ladies do not think about the future. It's like they literally are day by day. I just don't understand it. Like, how do you not think about what could potentially happen a year from now? And then these women got kids. Like, how do y'all do that? I would be so freaking nervous to be putting my kids in situations that I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to get ourselves out of. Like, it's just it's right, Jazzy. It's just a lot. It's just a lot with them, and and nothing never changes with them. It's like these girls are living like they're teenagers, like they're in their early 20s, and these women are damn near 40. They're damn near 40 years old, living like they in their early 20s. They live a today and dream of yesterday. Exactly. Exactly. It's a mess. I don't get it. And I guess I will never get it. I don't understand why people are not trying to make themselves better, even with their social media platforms. You can do so much with your social media platform to ensure that your life is better. I seen this thing today, y'all, where people were talking about the economy and how bad the economy is and how the government is gaslighting us. How many jobs have been lost just this year alone? And the man that I was watching did a Google search and said at the time over 180,000 people this year alone have relocated out of the country, have moved to other countries because living in the United States is way too expensive. Right, or have stability. Said over 180,000 people have left the United States to go live in other countries because they cannot afford to live here. Like, that is crazy to me. That is crazy to me. And it's true, you guys. Like, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. I said, girl, I remember when one job was cool. I remember when you could work one job and you was cool. One job now is damn near impossible to survive unless you are really making that guap. You got to have other things going on, or obviously have a significant other that can help you. I think social media is stunting some people's growth and maturity. Like when people go to prison for a long time, they say they're stuck at their age they were mentally when they went in the same thing. Yeah, I agree with you, Mo lady. I agree with you. It's like a time warp. It's like they're stuck in the time that they went to prison. Right. And when they get out 10 years, 15 years later, they're still stuck. Like if they went to prison in 2026 and did 10 years and get out in 2036, when they get out, they still stuck at 2026. Right. I think social media has done a lot. I mean, think about it, y'all. I mean, just for Olivia alone, she literally hasn't grown anything but her family size. That's it. As much money these ladies have made on the internet, it's much money that has came across their hands on these monthly YouTube checks, cash apps, and supporters doing this for them and doing that for them. And you have resorted to staying in your mama's back bedroom. I can't even say anything for Jasmine because at least Jasmine got her own place. Jasmine hasn't lived with her mother in over about 7, 8 years. One, you can say whatever you want to say about Jasmine, but at least she's managed to keep her own place. Every time Olivia go back to Florida, she got to go stay with Raquel until she can get a place. And then Chrissy seems to be doing okay for herself, regardless if she's selling her tail or not. I don't know what she's doing, but she's managing to keep them kids afloat and herself too. So all I'm saying is, like, why do y'all not want to do better? You know a girl personally that lives in Thailand? Like, I don't understand. Like, why don't y'all want to do better? But like Olivia, you like, girl, you talking about losing weight. Girl, you got bigger fish to fry. The weight will get lost eventually. What's the game plan, sis? You said she's moving again. Who you talking about, Chrissy? It hasn't, Mo lady. It hasn't changed in one bit. It hasn't changed in one bit. You said, Sean, I watch ladies that live in Ghana and Bali. It has not changed one bit. It's same bat channel, same bat time. A mess, honey. But yeah, you guys, they said that people are just like, this our certain administration, and they keep wanting to blame the Biden administration for what's going on now. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, when Biden was in office, it wasn't as bad as it is now. Like, it wasn't great, but it wasn't as bad as it is now. That I definitely can say. Um, it's just like the price of gas. They doing the same thing. They did this with the price of gas last time. They rose the price of gas up to $6, $7 a gallon. Everybody panicking. They couldn't believe gas was so high. Now, obviously, gas were higher in different parts of the United States than others. And then they brought the gas down to $2.50. And we was like, oh, okay, thank God. At least it's not $6. but before they rose the price, we was paying $1.50 a gallon. We cheering for $2.50. So this they're doing the same thing now. They shot the gas up to $5 and something, and now teetering it down to around three something a gallon. So we could be like, oh, gas is only $3.49. That's it. When just before the summer hit, people was paying $2 a gallon for gas. But now we're cheering for $3.49, $3.59, $3.69. When just 3 months ago we was paying $2. You see how they play mind games with you? Like with the price of eggs. When did the price of eggs started going up? Was that 2021, somewhere around that time? Y'all know prior to that, we was paying 79 cents, 69 cents, 59 cents a dozen for 12 eggs. Now you go in the store, they over $2. But you see how they shot the price of eggs to $6, $7. Folks running with you go in the stores, they tell you I remember going to Sam's Club and they was like two per family or two per person. Like you couldn't get no more than two cases of eggs. And they shot it all the way up. And now they teetered it back down to $2 or something. And we was like, oh, eggs is $2.59 for a dozen. Yeah, baby, that's not no deal. Just a couple years ago, they was 79 damn cents. Not 10 years ago, not 20 years ago. I'm talking 3 years ago. That's the game they play with us. They do. They do. And like now, there's a salmonella epidemic. Is it salmonella epidemic on jalapenos? Then we got the whole thing with the lettuce with Taylor Farm. I'm thinking to myself, what we supposed to eat? USA. What we supposed to eat? Everything got something wrong with everything. So what we supposed to eat? Crackers. Pretty soon y'all be saying something wrong with them. Yeah, a lot of people are on e-bikes. The recalls are stupid, crazy. It is. It's a mess. It's a mess. But guess what, y'all? We just got to do what we got to do. I mean, we've seen situations like this before. And we made it through it. We'll make it through this one. It's not going to be it's going to be it's definitely going to be some bruising, but we'll make it through it. The price of the eggs is going up was a total ripoff. It was monopoly amongst big A companies to jack up the prices. They actually been sued and fined for it. Yeah, it was ridiculous, Steve. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, why? Eggs? Tiara, my son sent me a text that said 5 kids and 13 pairs of shoes later with the crying emoji. Those pockets hurting over there. Baby, I'm telling you. 5 kids, yeah, at least 2 pair apiece. That's 10 pair. Yeah. And, shoes are not cheap. And I noticed, too, I didn't really see many good back-to-school sales. Did y'all notice that? Now, obviously, y'all, I don't have any kids to shop for back-to-school for. But, I was out moving around in stores and stuff. I didn't really see any good back-to-school sales. I didn't see people really advertising school supplies. Y'all remember school supplies used to be like dirt cheap around back-to-school time. You can go get you some Spire notebooks for a nickel. And I'm not talking 15, 20 years ago. I'm talking just a couple years ago. Yeah, it was no sales. I didn't see any sales. Republicans cut source tracking on vegetables this year. It's Steve. I'm just telling you, it's just an utter mess, and people are tired. People are wore out. They are literally exhausted. For a lot of people, you guys, buying a home, it's like it's not going to happen for them. And if you look at I see a lot of people talking too on the internet. It's damn near harder to get an apartment than it is anything now. Like they're making it really hard for people to get apartments. Because you got to make 3 times the rent, and then they jacking up the prices of the apartments. So that's why a lot of people are living in hotels, are living in extended stays, are living because it's the cheapest thing that they can find. And they don't have to make 3 times the monthly rent to stay in a hotel. Now, it's unfortunate if you got a single mom with 4, 5, 6 kids staying in a hotel. That's unfortunate. The foreclosure rate is going up. Alarming. They said it's real bad in Texas. We just had a tax-free weekend. Okay. So I don't know, y'all, but that's my time, honey. I'm gone. I'm out of here. Y'all be good. Y'all be great. We'll be back with the foolery tomorrow. Remember, sub what you love. Bye.